everyone, how's it going? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I got into a Stray Kids fan sign. I'm still so happy over it. Anyway, and so it's already over. I already, like, it's done. I wish I could go back, but I promised a lot of people I would do, like, a fan account sort of thing for it. And please ignore my, like, this is my obsession right now, my cookie pillow, so just ignore that I'm hugging it. Forever, like, I love Stray Kids, really I do, but number one, Army, always. Anyway, so, I got a lot of questions as to, like, how you apply, how do you know when there is a fan sign, all that stuff. So I'll also answer those questions as well as I'll talk about, like, my experience at the fan sign. So basically, how you know when there is a fan sign is it does depend on, like, which group, because basically a lot of the groups, what happens is it gets announced on that group's, like, fan cafe, and from as far as I know, you have to be leveled up in that fan cafe to be able to see that announcement. But, like, I don't have any experience with groups like that. The only one I have an experience with is, like, Stray Kids. And what happened for Stray Kids is basically they announced it on JYP fans, and there will also be a link posted on Stray Kids' official Twitter and Facebook to that announcement on JYP fans. But you do have to be a member of JYP fans to be able to see that announcement. But anyway, so in that announcement, all it basically tells you is, like, that yes, there's a fan sign, and, like, when that fan sign is, where it is, how many people they'll be accepting, and the main thing you want to look for is, like, they'll tell you, like, a time frame, like, and a place. So all you have to do is, like, go to that place during that time frame and buy albums. So, like, one album equals, like, one entry into the draw to attend the fan sign. So obviously, the more albums you buy, the bigger the chance, sort of thing. And, like, so what happens when, like, this bit, I for this fan sign, what happened was basically I didn't actually apply myself because I couldn't, because, like, the fan sign's on the 24th, and I arrived on the 24th morning, and the application period was from, I believe, the 18th to the 21st of August. And, like I said, I didn't arrive until the 24th morning, so I wasn't there on time, so I had to get a friend of mine who was already there to apply on behalf of me. But basically what happens is you just, like, they'll get you to fill up, like, this slip sort of thing, and they'll ask, like, your name. Make sure, like, that the name you write is your real name, like, that is on your passport, because if they do not match, you will not be able to get in. Like, it has to be your official, like, your real name. It can't be, like, a nickname or anything. And so, yeah, they ask for your name, your date of birth, and basically a phone number. And so, yeah, and then they will give you, like, a little receipt sort of thing, and you have to also keep that. Because with also, another thing you can't get in without is that receipt. You have to take, like, your ID that has the same name as you applied. That has the, like, you know what I mean, right? That has the name of the name you used to apply for the fan sign, as well as that little slip, like the fan sign receipt slip sort of thing. And yeah, so that's all you really need. Like, and then later on they'll already have, like, a link as to where to check if you want, like, if you got in or not. And so you just, when they've announced it, you just check there, and if you've got in, your name will be on there. And mine was, and I'm still dying. Anyway, okay, so talking about the fan sign sort of thing, my fan experience, oh my goodness, I can't believe it happened. I'm really sad in a way because it just happened so quickly. And, like, even it's been almost, like, it was last Friday, it's now, like, next Friday. So basically it's been more or less a week. But even, like, before it was a week, like, even that night later on, it happened so quickly that basically you couldn't remember who said what sort of thing. And I think it might have a lot to do with the fact that I was really nervous as well, which I'm really sad about. But I do remember bits and stuff, so I will talk about those bits. So the order was basically... Wait, I have notes on my phone. I'm going to have to check this. I know Hyunjin was first, but yeah. Oh yeah, and so also I have a friend who basically, she loves Hyunjin to death. Like, no joke. She is seriously. She loves him a lot. And so she asked me to give him a fan letter for her, and I did that as well. But so basically the order was Hyunjin's first, and oh, the other thing, sorry, it's a bit all over the place, but the other thing is once you arrive, what happens on the fan sign day is basically once you arrive, you have to show them your ID and that receipt I was talking about, and once they confirm it's you, they'll get you to pick like a number. Like usually it's 100 people that get accepted. So there'll be like 1 to 100 numbers. You don't literally pick. It's just they have them on cards, and like the number that's on the card is hidden. You just randomly pick a card, and what number you get on that card is the number that you will like. Is the order you'll go up. And so if you get like one, you go up, you're first to go up. If you get two, you're second, so on and so forth, all the way to 100. And yeah, so I pulled out 94th. I'm actually a lot happy to be like later on because I don't think I'll be able to handle being so early, and like being later on I just sort of like sat and sort of recorded stuff and everything. Anyway, so yeah, basically talking about my experience, it was Hyunjin first, and like so like I'm saying, Hyunjin is my friend's bias, and he's also sort of like he's not my bias, but I have a soft spot for him. I really have a soft spot for him. And so yeah, so basically I was just like Hyunjin 안녕, and he's like 안녕하세요, and then he was asking me like one thing they all asked me was where are you from, and so he's like where are you from? I was just there like Hoju, and then he basically like what I do remember from him was basically when he was signing my album, he put a heart next to my name, and that was like killing me. So I was like dying. I think he noticed, so he's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm just like, "Heart." And then the stupid kid, do you know? Instead of like laughing or something like I expected him to, what does he do? He puts another heart there. Anyway, yeah. So I died even more. But and then so I decided I'd mention my friend. So I was like, "Oh, my friend really likes you." Oh, by the way, with Hyunjin, it was a bit like bits of Korean and bits of English. And so I was like, "My friend really likes you." And so he was like, I thought at the very least he'd be like, "Oh, really?" And like ask about her and everything. He was just like, "Oh, thank you. Tell your friend thank you. But what about you?" He brings it back to me. I'm like, oh. But yeah, so I'm just there like, yeah, I like you too. I like you and Sungmin, and so but then I completely broke down, like not crying, broke down, but I was just like frozen sort of thing. And so he's just there like, don't be nervous, and holding my hair and everything, and I just died even more. Yeah, and that's Hyunjin for you. That was Hyunjin. Next was basically Changbin. Changbin, what I can remember for him was basically it's the usual they ask where you're from, and but he also asked me like what song I think this is him asking me in Korean, by the way. What song I like the best from I Am Who. So basically, what happened is I'm like voices, but then I realized I actually like my pace. So I'm like, oh, voices, also my pace. And then but then he was like, no, you have to choose one. So I was like, oh, I chose my pace. So he talked to me a bit about my pace, and then okay, so and then he was like later on he was like, "Do you have any questions or do you have anything you're curious about?" And the thing is, I was like, for those of you like who may or may not know, there was a typhoon warning for Seoul for that day, so flights and stuff were supposed to be affected. So I was like so scared I wouldn't be able to attend the fan sign, and so I didn't want to prepare for something I might be missing out on. So I didn't prepare anything like what to give them and like what to say to them, all of that stuff. But now that I did get to go, it's such a big regret of mine. But anyway, so yeah, he asked me that, and since I had nothing prepared, I completely blanked, and I just said no. I just had to say, "Oh no, it's okay. I'll see you next time." I'm sad, but at least no, it's still fun. And then like okay, so the next member is like Lino, Minho. The thing is, okay, I don't really call them by their stage names. I just always call them like by the like normal names. But anyway, so like it was Minho next, and Minho was just there like shaking my hand. He was like "Pangawayo," and I was just there like, "Yes, I know this what this means, but I don't know how to reply." But anyway, so he asked me like the usual, "Where are you from?" When I told him he's from Australia, he's like, "Oh, good day." I'm like, "Okay." So realistically speaking, how can I say this? Like, I don't really see people in Australia really say good day that much. Like, everyone thinks they do, but they seriously, I don't think they do. And like, I myself, I've like pretty much grown up in Australia, but I have only said it like maybe once or twice. But Lee Min Ho says it to you, you ignore that, and you say good day back. As if that's the most normal thing and that you say it all the time. It's just a normal Aussie thing to say. But anyway, so yeah, I said good day back, and then basically, he's just there like he was asking me like when I arrived and all that stuff, and then I was just like, I technically okay, so technically I was in Korea because of the BTS concert, like the BTS Love Yourself Soul concert, but the thing is, I wasn't going to mention that, was I? No, I just like I came to Korea for you guys, and technically it did end up being true because I had to give like even though the concert and the fan sign was on different days, I couldn't afford to do both because like I was for BTS, tickets sold out. I could not buy like first hand, and like I don't have fan club either, so like I had to buy during general sale, and like I couldn't afford like that resale ticket I was buying as well as the amount of albums I bought. So I had to give up the BTS concert to go to be able to do the fan sign. So technically it is sort of true, but technically it isn't because since the original reason I was in Korea is because of BTS. But anyway, so yeah, I pretended that I was like, yeah, I came for you guys, and he was so thankful. He was just like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, and he was like completely shaking my hand, like completely like this, and yeah, so um, basically it's just like, what else happened? Um, I'm just looking at my notes. Hold on. Yeah, that's all I wrote for Minho actually. Yeah, so rather I don't remember or that was it. I'm pretty sure that was it though. And basically next is Sungmin. Sungmin. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, like for Korean fan signs and stuff, what you have to do is you have to label the pages you want signed. So you will label Felix's page Felix, you'll label Chan's page Chan, etc. etc. And then like you also have to write your name at the front, like the name you want them to sign it to. So I had Candace written at the front, and basically he says Sungmin said Candace in perfect English. That killed me. So I was just there like, oh, your pronunciation's so good, and he's like, oh, thank you, and he was very very adorable. And then he was just talking to me. He was like making conversation. He was just asking me like, what number did I pull? So I was telling him 94 and all that stuff, and that was really that. And then next is like IN, Jongin. Okay, so something I would like to mention about Jongin is he is the reason I fell down this hole. If it wasn't for him, I probably never would have started studying Stray Kids because like it was that stupid racist smile that's so adorable that made me fall for them. And so yeah, and he was when it was like my turn, and like when I was up to him, I don't know what you call those, but he was wearing one of those things that basically, um, how can you like how do you call them? They're not beanies, they're not hats, but you wear them on your head, and they can be shaped like koalas, cats, and they come in all different shapes and all that stuff. But he was wearing one of those, and he looked really cute. So I was just there like, oh, Jongin, 너무 귀여워. And then he was just there, oh, 감사합니다. And then so Jongin was completely in Korean, by the way. I was the one member that I didn't do like I only did like one sentence of English in. And so basically, he afterwards he's like the usual, "Where are you from?" And so I told him Hoju, Australia. And so he's like, "Whereabouts in Australia?" And so I said Sydney. And so he's like, "Ah, oh, Sydney." And he had like this really adorable smile, and oh my goodness. Okay, and he asked me like while he was signing my album, he asked me if I was a Nuna, and I really wanted to say no, but as if I could. It's so obvious. I'm older than the whole group. I'm like, why do I have to be so old? But anyway, yeah. So I was like, yeah. So he wrote, he signed it to Candice Nunna, and I'm dying. I'll show you like the signed pages afterwards. And so and then he asked me something in Korean, but that I couldn't understand. So I was just like, eh. And then so he asked me again, but I couldn't understand again. So he tried in English, but he just couldn't. So he's just like, oh, sorry, I don't speak much English. And I'm just like, oh, no, it's okay. Sorry, I don't speak much Korean. And he's like, it's okay. And he held out his hand for a high five, and I gave him a high five. And he's just like, see you next time. And yeah. So after Jungin was Woojin. Woojin, he like so he's sort of the opposite of Sungmin in the way that he tried to say my name too, but he failed so badly, and it was the most adorable thing. So I sort of said it for him, and he's like, "Oh, sorry." I'm like, "Ani, 괜찮아." And so yeah, and then he asked like the usual, "Where are you from?" So I said Hoju, and then and then I also said like Felix and Chan, I'm from Sydney. So he was going on about how Felix and Chan are so loud in the dorms and all that stuff, and asking me, are all Australians like that sort of thing. And yeah, so that was really my conversation with Weijin. That was it. I'm sad about something else though. So out of the 9 members, all 8 members did hearts for me. He didn't. Woojin didn't, but it's okay. I still love that teddy bear. And so after Woojin, it was Han. And so Han was asking me like where I come from. But like I said, they all ask you that. Where do you come from? And I said Australia. And he was also asking me like basically, have I eaten? Like he did like this really cute eating gesture. And so I said no. And then like, because the fan side happened like at 8 o'clock at night. And by the time it was my turn to go up, it was already past 9. Like 9:30 sort of thing. So it was really late for dinner. So I should have eaten sort of thing. And so he's like, and when I said no, I haven't eaten, he's like, why? I'm like, because I come here from airport. And not true, but I said that. And so he's like, oh, you have to eat afterwards, okay? You have to eat afterwards. And he made me promise to eat afterwards. And I'm sorry, Han, I didn't. But you don't have to know that. Yeah, and so basically the last 2 are the Aussie line. And so next was Felix, and what I did for Felix was I was like, "Oh Felix, guess what I'm from? Oh Felix, guess where I'm from?" And bless that child, he said Thailand, and so I'm like, "Oh no, don't think of like where like don't think of like my English accent sort of thing." And he's like, America. I'm like, oh, I'm the same. I'm from. It's the same as you. And he's like, oh, that you. I can really tell. It is Australian. But then he was like, yeah, I can't really tell Australian accents anymore. And he was just there like, sorry. I'm like, oh no, seriously, don't worry about it. I was only joking, sort of thing. And then I was just like, yeah, to be honest though, I do like live in Australia, but I don't know if I have like an Australian accent or not. But then he was like basically, oh well, maybe you do. I just haven't heard it in ages that maybe I'm starting to forget. I'm like, and then he was going on about how much he wants to come back. So I was like, come back. And then bring the others with you as well. And he's like, oh, thank you, I'll try. So, guys, I got Felix to promise to try to come to Australia. I don't know if it's up to Felix or not, but anyway, that's better than nothing, right? Yeah, so, and then he was like, basically what happened was he asked me about, like, my flight, that how it must have been so long and stuff. So I was like, legit, it was really long. And he's like, legit. And he was making fun of me for saying legit. And then that was my time with him up. And Chan, so Chan basically, all me and Chan really talked about was basically, he was asking me like, when he found out I was from Sydney, he asked me like whereabouts in Sydney. So I was like, I told him whereabouts in Sydney I'm from, and he hadn't heard of that area. So I was trying to explain to him where it was, and like how I used to live in Wollongong and so, which for those of you who don't know is like sort of an hour-ish away from Sydney is like, and then he was like, oh, so Wollongong's where Jamboree is, right? I'm like, yeah, that's right. And then we just sort of went from there. So we just literally talked about Australia, and then the staff was like telling me to move on. But yeah, so that was like roughly my conversations with each member. I'm pretty sure I'm missing bits, but that's as much as I can remember. And I'm so grateful for like my friend who applied for me, because I like made her carry 35 albums, which by the way may not seem like a lot, but they are really big and heavy. I can speak from experience. I had to carry them on the way back from like Seoul to like Australia, and oh my goodness, my luggage was really heavy. I ended up like with blisters on my hand and everything. But yeah, so yeah, so I guess I'll show you guys like the signed pages and maybe wrap it up. But yeah, so I might like, I'll see. I have like clips and stuff from the fan sign. Maybe I'll include that as well. But also, oh, one thing though, after they got through all 100 fans, like signing for all 100 fans, basically what happened was they did a bit of a talk, and they also performed mixtape 2. So yeah, and yeah, but there was also one thing I did forget to mention is there was also like this bit where Hyunjin basically, well, like the person that was in front of the fan that was in front of him had moved on to the next member, and but the person that was supposed to be next to come to him hadn't, like, was talking to the staff, like, because like before you get to go to them, the staff check your album. So her album was being checked, so he was free for a bit. So he was like, he did like this, everyone look over here, and started throwing hearts and everything to like the fans that was sitting down, and oh my goodness. But yeah, okay, so this is the album that I still have. Like, they're a bit old bent now, and I'm missing Chance, but these are like the labels I had to do for like the pages I wanted them to sign, sort of thing. So yeah, but I'll show you. So basically, that is Changbin's. That is Chan. Minho. My friend's baby. Seungmin. Seungmin's one you can't see that well because it's sort of on a dark photo, but yeah. Jongin. See, it says Candice Nunna there, Nunna, right there. This is Woojin's. Han wrote Nuna as well, but he didn't ask me if I was a Nuna or not. He just wrote it. And yep. And okay, so the last member. I don't even want to think about what he wrote. It killed me when I found out. I didn't know when he wrote it. I found out later on. Too lovely, Candice. Oh my god. Can you guys actually see it? I'm trying to. Yeah, I think you can read that, yeah? But yeah, so that is my signed album. And that's about it. Until next time.
네. 예스 선생님. 안녕하세요 여러분. 인사드리겠습니다. 하나, 둘, 셋. 안녕하세요. 스트레이키즈입니다. 오늘도 와주셔서 너무 감사합니다. 예. 괜찮은가요? 감사합니다. 뭐야? 헐 귀엽. 네?
맘 편히 단순함 쉽게 생각해 열심히 한 몸이야. We never give up, yeah, yeah. We never give up, yeah, yeah. We never give up, yeah, yeah. 절대
생긴 날 수는 없지만 어둠이 있어야 더 빛날 수가 있어.
그러니까 다시 생각해봐. 달려왔던 일
너는 나의 도나 멈추지 못해. 어두워 보이는 그림자도 빛이 있어야 존재.
성민아. 직구야.